Deep in the heart of Louisiana's Atchafalaya Basin lies an enigmatic realm shrouded in mystery and fear. This vast, dense, and eerie swamp has long been rumored to be the home of a terrifying cryptid known locally as the Swamp Stalker. It all began with whispers carried on the wind through the cypress knees, tales of a horrifying beast that stalks the murky waters of the Bayou. As night falls, this creature emerges from the fog and mire, its glowing yellow eyes scanning the landscape for prey. Its moss-covered scales glisten in the moonlight, revealing its reptilian yet humanoid form. Long, sharp, clawed fingers reach out like hooks, always searching for something to grab onto. And from its gaping mouth, rows upon rows of jagged teeth are revealed as it lets out a blood-curdling screech that echoes through the swamp. Spanish moss hangs like ghostly drapes from the gnarled branches of twisted live oak trees, creating an eerie canopy overhead. Through the mist, the faint silhouettes of alligators can be seen lurking close by, their eyes gleaming with primal instincts. The air grows heavy with anticipation as the full moon casts an eerie glow over the mist-covered waters, bathing the swamp in an otherworldly light. What horrors might be lurking in the shadows? Can anyone truly escape the clutches of the Swamp Stalker? Or will they become another victim, claimed by the mysteries of the Bayou? Our story begins in the small town of Evergreen. Nestled near the edge of the Atchafalaya Basin, it is a place where the rhythm of life is dictated by the croaking of frogs and the buzzing of dragonflies. But beneath this veneer of tranquility, a sinister presence stirs, forever changing the lives of those who dare venture into its shadowy depths. Evergreen had always been a tight-knit community. The residents were as rooted in the swampland as the ancient cypress trees that lined the bayou. Generations had lived and died here, sharing stories around crackling fires under the star-filled sky. But recently, a palpable fear had begun to grip the town, replacing the warmth of their gatherings with hushed whispers and nervous glances. For the past few months, a series of unsettling events had occurred, each one weaving a tapestry of terror that threatened to engulf Evergreen. Livestock were found drained of blood, their lifeless eyes staring blankly into the inky blackness of the night. Then there were the disappearances, folks who had ventured too close to the swamp and simply vanished without a trace. Some blamed it on the fickle waters of the bayou, while others spoke in hushed tones of something more sinister lurking beneath the surface. The latest victim was young Jacob Delacroix, a high school senior known for his infectious laughter and love of fishing. He had gone missing after a night out with friends, his abandoned truck and blood-stained fishing rod the only clues to what had transpired. The townspeople were at their wits' end. Their way of life, their sense of security, was being eroded by the relentless grip of fear. They needed answers, and they needed them fast. Enter Sheriff Clayton Barrow, a man as weathered and stoic as the cypress trees themselves. His face was a roadmap of his years of service, each line etched by the harsh sun and the weight of the town's worries. Despite his own fears, he was determined to protect his community. With the help of a state trooper named Benoit, a woman whose sharp intellect and unwavering determination made her an asset to any investigation, the sheriff set out to uncover the truth behind the recent tragedies. Their journey led them deep into the Atchafalaya Basin, a place most people only visited in their nightmares. As they pushed their boat through the thick, murky water, the oppressive humidity pressing down on them like a shroud, they could feel the weight of countless untold stories pressing in on them from all sides. The deeper they ventured, the more the reality of their grim task settled upon them. They were hunting a monster. Suddenly, a blood-curdling screech split the stillness of the night. The sound seemed to slither through the trees, coiling around their hearts and squeezing the breath from their lungs. The sheriff and the trooper exchanged a tense look, their eyes reflecting the haunting melody that echoed around them. They weren't alone in the swamp. The chase began. The Swamp Stalker, sensing their presence, had fled into the labyrinthine heart of the bayou. Barrow and Benoit followed, their boat slicing through the mist like a lifeline in a sea of fog. The pursuit took them through tunnels of hanging moss, where the gnarled branches of ancient trees formed a roof overhead, filtering the moonlight into emerald shafts on the water below. Every twist and turn of the winding waterways brought them closer to their quarry, but also closer to the darkest secrets of the swamp. As the minutes ticked by, the urgency in the air grew thicker. The silence of the swamp was shattered by the splash of water and the guttural roar of the fleeing creature. Suddenly, it emerged from the mist, its eyes burning with an eerie yellow glow, its moss-covered scales shimmering like emeralds in the moonlight. For a heart-stopping moment, their eyes met, and Barrow felt a chill crawl up his spine. This was no ordinary animal. The Swamp Stalker was unlike anything he'd ever encountered, a terrifying fusion of reptilian and humanoid features that defied logic and reason. Its hands were long and clawed, ending in sharp talons that scraped against the hull of their boat. Then there was its mouth, a cavernous abyss filled with rows upon rows of jagged teeth that glinted menacingly in the moonlight. With each swipe of its clawed hand and every lunge of its snapping jaws, the creature seemed to grow larger, more menacing. And as it finally disappeared into the murky depths, leaving behind only ripples in its wake, Barrow knew that the fight to save Evergreen had just begun. They raced back to town, the urgency of their mission propelling them forward. The sight that greeted them was one of chaos and despair. Homes were overturned, corpses strewn across the ground, their eyes wide with terror. It was as if a whirlwind of destruction had swept through, leaving nothing but devastation in its wake. But amid the carnage, something else caught Barrow's eye. Scratched into the bark of a nearby tree was a symbol, one that seemed both ancient and terrifyingly familiar. It was the mark of the beast. He realized with a jolt, the creature that haunted the swamps wasn't just a figment of the townspeople's imagination. It was real, and it was among them. The search for the Swamp Stalker had turned into a desperate fight for survival. Now, Sheriff Barrow and Trooper Benoit must team up with a local expert on Louisiana swamp lore, the enigmatic and eccentric Delphine Lahoyne, to try to stop the beast before it claims another victim. Together, they'll have two brave, treacherous swamps, uncover cryptic clues, and confront the creature in a thrilling showdown that will determine the fate of Evergreen. Will they succeed, or will the Swamp Stalker claim them as its next victim? Find out in the next episode of Swamp Stalker.